Hey there. Most of you have probably heard your parents or other boomers saying you should buy a house. You know, build a family, invest for the future, live a happy life. Maybe they've even told you stories about how they bought their first home at a cheap price, with almost no competition. Sounds great, right? But then you realize, today, many people can't even afford rent, let alone buy a house. Even those with mortgages struggle to keep up with the payments. You might think this is just a problem in your country and consider moving somewhere else, only to discover the same issue almost everywhere in the world. So, what's really happening? In this video, we're going to break down why housing has become so unaffordable, how home ownership turned into a rigged game, who's really benefiting, and whether this is ever going to stop. Let's get started. Section 1. When houses stopped being homes. A long time ago, buying a house was just a normal part of life. It meant having a place to live, raise a family, and feel stable. It wasn't about showing off or getting rich. In the 1960s, most houses cost around 2 to 3 times the median person's yearly salary. That means even one person working a regular job could afford to buy a home. Some countries even helped more by offering cheap loans for families. In the US, there was the GI Bill, which helped many veterans buy homes after World War II. But it has changed now. In the US, the median house now costs about 5 to 6 times the median household income. In high-cost cities, it can exceed 8 times income. And homes today aren't just places to live, they're used to make money. Older people bought houses when they were cheap and watched the price go up over time. Some now own more than one. People started seeing houses as something to invest in, not just live in. That's why many new homes are more luxurious, they bring more profit. And the small, starter homes are disappearing. Over time, the idea of a simple home changed. It became something to buy, hold, and sell for money. And when that mindset took over, everything started to shift. Section 2. Why prices keep going up, even when nobody buys. You might think house prices should drop when fewer people are buying. That's how it works with most things, right? If nobody wants to buy a phone or a car, the price goes down. But housing is different. Prices keep rising, even when buyers are struggling. Why? Well, the first reason is zoning laws. Many cities have strict rules called zoning laws, which decide what kind of buildings can go where. For example, imagine Wee City has 100 acres of land. The government might divide it like this: 25 acres for housing, 25 for shops and offices, 25 for factories, and 25 for parks. That way, the city stays balanced. But sometimes, the government plans it badly. They don't update the rules when the population grows or when more people need homes. In some neighborhoods, the zoning laws even ban apartments or small homes completely. That means fewer units can be built, so prices stay high. And even when land is available for housing, some developers don't build right away. Instead, they just sit on it and wait. This is called land hoarding. They wait for prices to go up, so they can build later and sell the homes for more profit. Second is the complicated building process itself. Construction is slow and expensive. It can get delayed by permit issues, rising material costs, worker shortages, or even bad weather. Sometimes it's even worse, the land gets stuck in a legal dispute and the whole project stops forever. That's why you sometimes see half-finished ghost buildings just sitting there. And when builders do manage to build, they usually go for big, luxury homes because those bring in more profit. Third is zombie houses. Yeah, some homes aren't even lived in. Investors buy them, leave them empty, and wait for prices to rise. These are called zombie houses, and they make the shortage worse. Section 3. Your landlord is a hedge fund. Back then, if you rented a place, your landlord was usually just a normal person. Maybe a retired couple or someone with a second house. Yeah, like the Mr. Bean cartoon, living on top of his grumpy landlady. Well, that still exists today, but not as much as before, because many renters nowadays don't even know who owns their home. In lots of cities, it's not a person at all. It's a giant company. Big Wall Street firms like Blackstone and Invitation Homes now own tens of thousands of houses. Some of them own more than 100,000 homes. These companies don't care about living in the homes. They care about using them to make more profit. That's one reason rent keeps rising, even when fewer people are buying homes. And it's not just Wall Street. Even regular homeowners are joining in. 1 out of every 4 homes, or 25%, is bought by investors, including big companies. So now, regular people aren't just competing with other families. They're competing with rich investors or companies who are racing to buy more houses and rent more. Even worse, some homes are now rented as short-term Airbnb-style stays for tourists. If you haven't heard of Airbnb, it's a way to rent out your house or apartment for a few days or even longer. Simply put, literally like a hotel. It's great for budget travelers, especially groups, since many Airbnbs let more people stay in one place, unlike hotels. But when there are too many Airbnbs, it gets harder for locals to compete, because those homes are no longer available for people who actually want to live there. That's why, if you've seen the news lately, many locals in places like Barcelona, Spain, have started to push back against tourism, because so many homes have turned into Airbnbs, driving the locals out and making the housing even more scarce. Section 4, Make the problem and sell the solution. If you've ever complained about not being able to afford a house, someone probably told you it's your fault. Maybe they said you should stop buying avocado toast or work harder. But that's not the real reason people are locked out. The truth is, home prices have gone up way faster than wages. Even if you save every month, the price of the house rises faster than your savings. And when politicians try to help, it often backfires. They give out tax breaks or first-time buyer bonuses, which sounds good, but these programs only increase demand. Sometimes they don't provide more houses, so prices go even higher. Meanwhile, the system is full of contradictions. Some homeowners vote to block new housing developments because they want to protect the value of their own homes. But at the same time, they also want housing prices to be affordable for their kids. That doesn't add up. And we haven't talked about the mortgage part, as the mortgage rules keep changing. Getting a home loan keeps getting harder. Even if you do everything right, the goal keeps moving away as house prices and rent keep rising. In big cities, renters often spend 35 to 45% of their income on rent, way above the recommended 30%. And even people who manage to buy often feel stuck with high monthly payments and rising interest. That's why many people feel trapped. Section 5, Is renting the new normal? People often ask, can we fix this? Well, the answer is yes, but it won't be easy. There are a few ideas experts suggest. The first idea is called a land value tax. That means instead of taxing both land and buildings, you tax only the land, whether the building on it is a mansion or a hut. Yeah, this doesn't 100% work, but it encourages owners to build or sell instead of sitting on empty land just waiting for prices to rise. The second idea is zoning reform, changing the rules so more homes can be built, like apartments or smaller units. Some places are even talking about banning big companies from buying single-family homes, so regular people have a fair chance. And finally, ending or reducing tax benefits for owners with multiple homes. This could reduce the number of houses used purely as investments and free up more homes for first-time buyers. So why aren't we doing all this already? One of the reasons is because most people in power already own homes. In fact, about 65% of Americans do. Yeah, higher than expected, huh? That means if prices drop, a lot of people would be angry, including voters. No politician wants that. And a sudden dip in prices could be dangerous. People who bought recently might end up owing more than their house is worth, because the bank cares about the loan amount, not just the house value. This was like what happened in the 2008 crash that caused many people to go bankrupt. Even if prices fall, it won't help in the long term unless the whole system changes. For example, in the US, in 2020, about 40% of new single-family homes sold for under $300,000. By 2024, that share dropped to around 16 to 23%, depending on the region. That's a nationwide collapse in affordable new homes. So, unless the rules change, renting might just become the default for an entire generation. Owning a home is supposed to be part of the dream, but we've made sure most dreamers can't afford it. So, in conclusion, why can't people afford homes anymore? It's not just about high prices. It's about how the whole system changed. Homes used to be something you live in. Now they're treated like investment tools. Prices are pushed up on purpose, supply is held back, and big investors are buying houses before regular families even get the chance. Unless we fix the whole system, the real problems won't ever be solved. Help us keep making videos like this by becoming a member and unlocking some exclusive perks, too. If you want me to make other videos explaining these topics, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.